St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
You wake up feeling like you just boxed 12 rounds. Some wake up sweating with sore jaws, headaches, and a lot of our patients complain of brain fog. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and these signs, often joined with snoring, are sleep apnea symptoms. And if this sounds like you may have been in a struggle last night between you and this serious disorder. Many people aren't willing to fight back. But the fact is, you can't go through these nightly struggles without ramifications that each night chip away at your life's expiration date. I get it. You don't want to wear a CPAP mask. You may find out you don't need one. We have every effective sleep apnea solution available. And believe me, the mask is the last resort.
It's time to take action to stop your sleep struggle. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
The Bucks are swooping into Atlanta to take on the Hawks.
Giannis going downhill, goes right past Brown and sends it down the facial. Served up from the Greek Freak.
Our coverage starts tonight at 6. We are your home for the Milwaukee Bucks. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 9 o'clock, it is 40 degrees, cloudy skies, rain going to get steady this afternoon. Could hear some rumbles of thunder as well. A high of 48, that rain continuing tonight. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Adam Roberts. Happening now at City Hall in downtown Milwaukee, the Common Council has convened, and they are expected to vote today on a memorandum of understanding critical to putting school resource officers back in Milwaukee public schools. Today's vote following stern words from Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson towards MPS in his State of the City address Monday.
To be clear, Milwaukee needs to see substantial change and substantial improvements at Milwaukee Public Schools.
A court-ordered deadline of March 15th also looms, set by County Judge David Borowski. That's when the city must provide the names of officers and the schools they'll be working in, or face $1,000 daily fines. And again, the Common Council convening this hour at Milwaukee City Hall. As the Wisconsin Elections Commission meets today to certify the results of the spring primary, an audit of the 2024 election shows no evidence of fraud in Wisconsin. Released by the Elections Commission, the report shows voting machines and software were not tampered with. That audit is required under state law and has been done after each general election since 2006. As autopsies conclude on a couple found dead in a Village of Waukesha home, there are new developments concerning the couple's teenage son.
17-year-old Nikita Kassup was arrested in Kansas on Friday. He's now in custody on felony theft charges after allegedly stealing his stepfather's car and gun. On Friday morning, the teenager's mother, Tatiana Kassup, and stepfather Donald Mayer were found dead in their Village of Waukesha home. Kansas police found a firearm, spent shell casings, ammunition, and driver's licenses belonging to the teenager's parents during a traffic stop. The family dog was also with him. Location data shows Kassup's cell phone leaving Waukesha on February 24th and traveling through multiple states before his arrest in Kansas. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
China and Canada have already announced retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. after President Trump installs tariffs against those countries and doubles Chinese tariffs overnight. What about Mexico?
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has just said Mexico will respond to the 25% tariffs imposed by the U.S. by slapping retaliatory tariffs on certain U.S. goods. But she won't announce which U.S.-made products will be affected until Sunday. That suggests she still has hopes of de-escalating the situation between now and then. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
Tariffs likely to be brought up this evening when President Trump addresses a joint session of Congress in Washington. Today is Fat Tuesday, and in Milwaukee, that means roughly 40,000 punchki will fly out the doors of National Bakery.
That's a lot of punchki and a lot of eggs. Brian Krause is hoping to keep prices relatively steady during uncertain times.
Something we're constantly monitoring.
A from-scratch bakery, Krause says National Bakery goes through roughly 400 pounds of eggs each week.
We're very sensitive to our customers, and if we can absorb a little bit of it to keep the customer base rolling in, that's what we're going to do sometimes.
Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
Krause is expecting egg prices to be elevated for at least the next 18 months. And on this Fat Tuesday in New Orleans, they're saying it'll take more than a threat of severe weather to dampen spirits for Mardi Gras, but that doesn't mean some celebrations haven't been altered.
The sun hadn't even risen when the colorful Zulu and Rex parades and street dances got underway. Despite the threat of heavy rain, New Orleans Police Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick pleaded with celebrants.
Please do not bring an umbrella. Y'all in wind, those are like flying darts that could cause harm.
The Fat Tuesday forecast for the Crescent City is for wind gusts of 60 miles per hour. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Here at home, we're watching for our own steady rain on Fat Tuesday. We'll have your complete WTMJ 5-day forecast in about 4 minutes. Time now for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update, and it is not a great start to the day. On the news of tariffs installed against against Canada and Mexico, the market's taking a tumble to start the day. Right now, the Dow is down 1.3% off 580 points at 42,613. The NASDAQ down nearly 1.4% off 250 at 18,101. And the S&P 500 is down 81 points this hour at 5,769. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are on the way next. Outdoor Living in Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 9:05.
You're right, and I'll agree. It does sound too good to be true, but offering you affordable treatment that alleviates pain, which really does work, that we've seen in most cases, insurance paid for in full, is a definite reality. It's pain relief, really. And these are FDA-approved treatments. They're safe and proven to reduce inflammation and alleviate pain. Yeah, you'll have to get a couple of shots, and I know that can scare people. But the needle is extremely small. And after giving shots like this hundreds of thousands of times, you'll see we make it very easy. You're going to feel the relief that our powerful pain relief agents give you. They're pain relief drugs that solve pain problems. And the way I feel is that Rejuvenex should be the first stop for anyone living with pain in shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees. At $65 per joint, per injection, it's probably the most affordable pain relief option available that actually works.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain. Rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex Google reviews will tell you more.
Are you looking for a new car or truck? Well, good news. Inventories have really improved lately, and I have a few ideas to help you find the vehicle of your dreams. I'm Jim Token, president of Adam, the Auto Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. The first step to getting that car of your dreams is to visit any of the 115 Adam member dealerships, where you can see their selection in person and take test drives. You can also find out about the new cars they have on order and reserve the one you want. Or if you really want to get the exact car you're dreaming of, they can order it for you. It might take a few weeks for delivery, but hey, wouldn't it be nice to have the perfect vehicle built just for you? This is your chance. Plus, if you're thinking of trading in your current car or ending your lease early, you'll be amazed at what dealers are offering. And if you prefer to handle the negotiations and paperwork remotely, no problem. Most Adam dealers will even bring cars to you for test drives. So don't wait. Start your search now. Find an Adam member dealer near you at adamm.com.
Time now for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk.
3-1 coming back. That one's hit well out to left center. This one's got a shot. Back-to-back bombs by the Brewers to open up this game in Goodyear.
That one, Vinny Capra. That's how it sounded on WTMJ. Continuing a hot spring training is Vinny, a fourth home run now of the Arizona campaign. Brewers would fall to the Reds on Monday. They're off today and will face the White Sox tomorrow in Glendale. And the Bucks get back at it tonight. They are in Atlanta. Our coverage from ATL begins at 6 here on your home of the Bucks, WTMJ. Let's check the roads now. Your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Got a broken down vehicle still on that exit to North Avenue from 43 North, right around the curve, and that's leading to some backups, or rather the backups are stretching north of that point. That's where the backups begin. You'll find that as you head north from about north to near Capitol Drive on 43. Also, a smattering of incidents right now and some repair work being done on the left shoulder of the ramp from 94 East to Brewers Boulevard. We've also got a broken down vehicle on the right shoulder, 94 West near 70th Street. And then also on 794 East at Car Ferry, got a broken down vehicle on the right lane there. Your WTMJ 5-day forecast for today. Again, watching for steady rain to move in this afternoon. It is expected to continue through the overnight. Could hear a rumble of thunder as well today. High of 49, low tonight down to 41. Rain mixing with a bit of slushy snow accumulation on your Wednesday. It will be windy as well. We reach our high early of 46, then temps will fall in the afternoon. Mostly sunny, breezy Thursday and 38. Another chance for a rain-snow mix south of Milwaukee Friday and a high of 39. Afternoon flurries Saturday and a high of 38 degrees. Right now in Madison, it's cloudy and 45, 41, and clouds in Green Bay. Waukesha, cloudy and 45, and in Milwaukee right now, it is mostly cloudy and 41. I'm Adam Roberts. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 9:09.
Good morning, Wisconsin. So let's pour that coffee and talk to some experts about what's going on in Milwaukee, Madison, Washington, and beyond. Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. It's the Political Power Hour on WTMJ. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
Should we talk about the government?
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday show. That means this week, that's conservative writer James Wigderson joins me. James, I didn't get a chance to talk about it on Monday's show because I had a different non-political guest on. But since last week, everyone's asking me, Steve, what do you think about the Oval Office meltdown, the visit by President Zelensky from Ukraine, and obviously J.D. Vance, Vice President, President Donald Trump last Friday was in all the headlines, all the talk shows this weekend. Before I give you my take on it, I want to get your educated take on what you saw on full display in the Oval Office last week.
Well, what I saw was the United States suddenly lurching to the wrong side of the whole Ukraine-Russia conflict. And using an excuse to do it. I mean, it was definitely an occasion where they provoked them. Zelensky behaves like a person who is running a country that is under siege, is in danger, and Donald Trump behaved like a petulant child, and now supposedly Zelensky has to apologize to Trump. It's just a horrible situation. It's going to take decades before our country recovers from this. I'm not kidding when I say that, because what we've done is we've damaged our reputation for being on the right side of these conflicts. We haven't always done the best in these conflicts, and sometimes we haven't always followed through on our promises. But that's a long ways from being on the wrong side of it and siding with Putin. And if Jimmy Carter had sucked up the Brezhnev the way that Trump is sucking up to Putin, is that the impeachment would have been bipartisan and Carter would have been out of office within weeks.
I'll get to the relationship question because I'm really curious about exploring that a little more in depth. But I guess for me, and I said this on one of the programs that was on Friday, for someone who has sort of studied history, seen what's happened since World War II and sort of the coming together of Europe, the Allies working together, figuring out what post-World War II would look like, helping each other in times of need, working through some major struggles and ordeals, even if you want to throw the pandemic in there, trying to figure out solutions to things that embrace the world, impact the world beyond our own little country. And then I see this, a president who wanted to make sort of a businessman take on what should be walking into that Oval Office and saying to our ally, and I think Ukraine's an ally, although you wouldn't have guessed that by Trump and Vance's behavior, what can we do to help you? Instead, it was confrontational. Instead, I felt like they were trying to show him up. And, the comments about how he was dressed. He's in a war, James. He doesn't have to dress up for you. I was just offended by that sort of attack on history and the attack on someone who's actually trying to lead a country through a difficult situation. I know it's a long take on it, but that's how I felt.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're right on the money there. And when you look at the historical scope of U.S. behavior towards our allies, when you look back, for example, in 1941, the Lend-Lease Act, Roosevelt wasn't saying to Churchill, okay, you're going to have to give us the Suez Canal and all of your coal, and maybe we'll give you a few airplanes and a battleship. That wasn't what happened during Lend-Lease. Instead, we helped Great Britain at a time when they were facing overwhelming odds against the Nazis, and they were standing alone in Europe. And you don't, when your neighbor's house is on fire, you don't sit there and say, well, I might let you use the hose, but I want you to build a new fence, and I want you to give me your front yard. I mean, that's not the way it works.
Trump famously said during the campaign, I'll end this war in one day. Well, we're now 1 month into his second term as president. There's really no serious change. Do you think this confrontation, this argument in the Oval Office with the president of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky, is going to alter the sort of the course of history when it comes to what happens in this war, potentially? And then I want to get to some of the Putin stuff with Trump, because I think that's a minefield of really, really interesting stuff to talk about.
Right. I think that the way it's going to affect the war itself is that it shows that Trump has absolutely no interest in helping Ukraine and was willing to do anything to sabotage a deal with Ukraine as far as providing aid. As far as Trump is concerned, this is Europe's problem. Let Europe take care of it. Trump has expressed interest before in withdrawing from NATO. He's never supported confronting Russia or the Soviet Union before that. Trump has always been on the side of cutting the deal, and his version of ending the war in one day would have been, you need to surrender now and just get it over with because you're losing the war. And it's not paying attention to what's actually happening on the ground in Ukraine, and it's not paying any attention to the resolve that our rest of our European allies have shown in trying to support Ukraine.
James Winterson joining us on the Political Power Hour, Tuesday edition right here on 620 WTMJ. We're going to take a break. I want to explore the relationship question between Vladimir Putin, president of Russia, and Donald Trump, our president. James will continue the conversation after this.
Whatever you want to call this season, we're over it. Time to look forward to
fly ball, right field. It is deep. It is gone.
Spring training is finally here and back on the radio.
It is way gone. Over the batter's eye and out of here for William Contreras.
Make sure to catch our next spring training broadcast as the Brewers take on the A's Thursday at 7:05. No matter the season, we are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
Tariffs and the threat of their implementation become a central part of United States trade and foreign policy. What are tariffs? How are they implemented? And what sectors of the economy could benefit if they're put in place? Very topical topic. Join me and Annex Wealth Management's Dave Spano, Chief Economist Brian Jacobson, March 11th, next week at 1 p.m. for this informative webinar. Learn how your portfolio and your financial plan might be impacted and affected by tariffs. Visit the Annex Wealth Management webinar page at WTMJ.com.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Shopco Optical. Get eyewear for everything you do at Shopco Optical. Schedule your annual comprehensive eye exam, check out new frame styles, and order your annual supply of contact lenses all in one place. Enjoy the time and attention your eyes deserve at Shopco Optical. Receive quality eye care and a personalized vision solution tailored to your specific vision and lifestyle needs. Call Shopco Optical or visit shopco.com to schedule an appointment at a location nearest you.
Continuing the conversation with James Wigderson, conservative writer. Where can folks find your great writing every week, James?
They can find me at Substack. I'm under Wigderson Library and Pub. They can just search for me that way, or they can search for me under James Wigderson. And you'll see I publish at least twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays. I'll be publishing something this evening, for example. I hope that people enjoy it.
James, before the break, I asked you about, at least I teed up the question of the relationship between Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. I suggest this is a president, our president, Donald Trump, who sort of admires dictators, tough guys, people who are oppressive and dictators in their own countries. Do you agree with my assessment?
Well, I think that that's definitely the case. He has always shown an admiration of dictators in the past. Strongmen. He, for example, when he talked about Tiananmen Square, he talked about how the Chinese behaved in a way that the Russians didn't. He expressed his admiration for what the Chinese government did. He has not shown any interest in human rights or democracy, and he's not showing it now as president. He's showing it when we talk about Gaza, for example. He's actually talking about the ethnic cleansing of the Gaza Strip, which to me is just amazing that we don't spend more time talking about that. And it's just shocking how willing he is to embrace these dictators, and at the same time, he picks fights with Canada and Denmark and Panama, democratic countries that are allies of ours, because he thinks he can. It's a terrible turn for the United States, and it's going to take us a long time for us to recover diplomatically.
I heard one of the talking heads this weekend on one of the political talk shows say that this is what happens when a business person who thinks they're successful in business comes into government trying to use the same principles and ideas of that did in their business to government. And I would actually use the Elon Musk example. While it's admirable to try to trim the inefficiencies of government, how you do it matters. And I'm seeing the same failings from Elon Musk, misrepresenting what agencies and organizations do, overstating how much savings has built into some of these cuts and impacts. It's sort of the same model. I'm a tremendous businessman, but not necessarily a great leader. What do you think?
Well, we've had presidents from all different walks of life. So we've had generals and lawyers and all different backgrounds and with all different kinds of results as a result. But I think this shows what you do when you elect a corrupt businessman as president. This is the result that you get: one that was not willing to pay his bills when he was in business, one that fought every bill as a legal case and offered to pay pennies on the dollar. Certainly ran his business in a way that's, we can talk about Trump University and the charity that he ended up having to give up in New York. Those are the things that should make Americans pause about what kind of leader that they've elected. It's just, he is not a good person, and that's really what it comes down to. I don't care if he came out of business, he came out of entertainment. I don't care which category you put him in. He is not a good person. That's really the bottom line.
I want to ask one more question about Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump's relationship before we get to the Supreme Court race in Wisconsin. How would you describe quickly the relationship between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin?
I think it's an interesting dynamic where he is almost like the junior partner in that relationship. He admires what Vladimir Putin is able to do within his own country. The strength that Vladimir Putin shows. Vladimir Putin presents himself as the alpha male, and Donald Trump is all supportive of that. There's speculation, of course, in some European newspapers that Donald Trump is actually an agent of Russia. I'm not willing to go into those types of conspiracy theories. Instead, I just believe that he has this weird fascination with Putin, and Putin can get him to do whatever he wants.
All right, I want to let you get out of here without talking about the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. Former AG Brad Schimmel, now Waukesha County Judge, and, of course, Susan Crawford, a Dane County Judge. Where do you think that race is at right now? I think Schimmel's got a slight lead. What do you think?
I think that probably Schimmel has the slight edge right now. He has done the one thing that past conservative candidates have not. He's managed to match dollar for dollar and even surpass the liberal candidate as far as fundraising goes. The Republicans have run a pretty good race. I'm in the swing area of the city of Waukesha, if you will. And, I'm going on the door knocks that I'm getting. I've had 2 Schimmel door knocks and 1 Democratic door knock for Crawford during this time. But certainly I think that he is running an effective race, and he has not fallen into the trap that some of the other statewide Republican candidates have fallen into of overly embracing Trump, believing in talking about the conspiracy theories and saying that the January 6th insurrection was justified, or saying that the 2020 presidential election was stolen. Schimmel has managed to avoid those traps, and I think that's being shown in the results. Yeah, I think it's Schimmel's race to lose. James, we'll do it again in a couple of weeks. How can folks find your great work? They can find me at Substack at Wigderson Library and Pub. They can search for me. It's James Wigderson, and they'll see my great writing there. And I hope that they enjoy it. Always appreciate the conversation. Thank you, James. Thank you, Steve.
We get it. You're on the go, and life gets in the way. Stay up to date on all things WTMJ with podcasts of every show. Available on WTMJ.com. And don't forget you can stream WTMJ online and watch your favorite WTMJ shows on YouTube. Every show, when you want it, no matter where you are. We are Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620 WTMJ. Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Annex Wealth Management. When it comes to your investment retirement plan, setting it and forgetting it isn't a great idea. It's time to be nimble because, as you probably noticed, 2025 has its fair share of drama. It's time for Annex Wealth Management. Know where you are and where you can go based on working with Annex for retirement investment planning, tax planning, estate planning. That's what Annex does for millennials, Generation X, boomers, and the greatest generation that can help singles, couples, and those who have lost spouses. If you're already retired, how about a second look at your current plan from somewhere else? Same thing with do-it-yourselfers. I used to be one of those. Annex can chart a path forward. It's a great chance to know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. Go to annexwealth.com. Click on the now famous Get Started button. Every day, people just like you are visiting one of their 8 branches or meeting via Zoom. Know the difference. Start at annexwealth.com.
My name is Emma. I'm 25 years old, and I work at the Wisconsin Athletic Club. And I just love what I do here because I feel like I helped a lot of people. I hope that other kids can have a goal that they can move out and live independently too. I've had all these opportunities because somebody said yes to me.
Live life to the fullest with Thinkability Wisconsin, a resource hub that supports people with disabilities throughout their lives. Connect with a real-time navigator at thinkabilitywi.org today.
Hey, it's Penn of Penn and Teller. Get ready for an evening of big laughs and some really cool tricks as we bring our hit Vegas show one night only to the Riverside Theater in Milwaukee, March 27 at 8 p.m. Jimmy Fallon calls us one of the greatest acts in showbiz. The show the LA Times called the single best show in Vegas is coming right here to Milwaukee. Penn and Teller, an evening of magic and comedy at the Riverside Theater on March 27th. Get tickets today at the box office or the PabstTheaterGroup.com.
Feeling like winter inside your house? WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for USA Insulation. Many homes built before 1980 have little to no insulation. Anything you do, better than what you got, but you call USA and now you've got the best. Their foam injection method, 35% more efficient than your standard wall insulation. Most jobs done in as little as a day. Some homeowners qualify for thousands in rebates and discounts. Every USA customer begins saving money day one. USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
Thanks to James Wigderson for joining me for the first couple segments of the show. After the bottom of the hour news, 9:30 for you kids out there, Gen X and millennials. Millennials aren't kids anymore, are they? Jeremy Janine, Urban Milwaukee, will join me talking about what happened yesterday. The mayor of Milwaukee, Cavalier Chevy Johnson's State of the City address. We'll dissect that. Talk about his plan for Milwaukee, what that looks like. Is there actually a plan, or is it just a good idea to sort of grow the population base? And some of the other big stories in Milwaukee. Always want to make sure you're aware of our podcast page. Producer Jazz does a great job putting all those pieces together of these shows. You can find them anywhere, anytime, anywhere you get your podcasts or at WTMJ.com. And the cool thing is, if you don't want to listen to commercials, but I encourage you to listen because those are our great partners here at WTMJ, you can listen to the whole show in about 35, 36 minutes. And Jazz does a spectacular job putting that all together. I was curious about this morning. I don't have a ton of time. I only got about a minute before the news here. But sort of this reaction to what the market's doing. Now, it's one thing to call it a crash. It's not a crash, but it's certainly a downturn. The trend's not looking good, and obviously these tariffs are contributing to that problem. So you got to be sort of aware of that. What I'm going to be looking at, what I'm really going to ask Bill McCoshen about on Friday, who's owning this in this administration? Is it the president? Because Joe Biden didn't talk about tariffs. This president, Donald Trump, talked about tariffs and now has implemented them. That's one you can't blame on the previous administration. So I'm curious, as this thing sort of trends downward in the wrong direction, who's taking ownership of that? Or is it just something that rich people don't have to think about? All the rest of us have to suck it up and pay higher prices for everything from Canada, Mexico, China, and God knows where else. So that's all coming up on Friday with Bill McCoshen and Joseph Packer. We have the latest local news, of course, from Adam Roberts. Before we get to any of that, here's the latest now from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. President Trump tonight delivering an address to a joint session of Congress. He will discuss what's happened since he first got elected, including recently imposing tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China, and the pausing of all U.S. aid to Ukraine. It's still unclear how the Democrats will respond to the speech. Many in Congress have been trying to come up with a strategy to demonstrate their disapproval. They have reportedly been warning not to bring props. Some Democrats will boycott the speech, and others have given their seats in the gallery above the chamber to recently fired federal workers, including many veterans who have just been let go from various government posts. Stocks dropping again on Wall Street as companies and investors react to the tariff decision. Severe weather across the eastern half of the country, some of it expected to disrupt Mardi Gras celebrations in New Orleans. Pope Francis resting after 2 episodes of acute respiratory distress on Monday. The Pope now off non-invasive mechanical ventilation. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 9:31. I'm Adam Roberts. Milwaukee's Common Council currently in session at City Hall today, where they are expected to vote on a memorandum of understanding that will pave the way to return school resource officers to Milwaukee Public Schools buildings. That agreement outlines the 50-50 spending breakdown with MPS and says 25 officers must complete 40 hours of training with the National Association of School Resource Officers. SROs were supposed to be back in MPS buildings at the start of 2024 as part of the Act 12 agreement. Police in Sheboygan asking the public this morning to avoid the area near North 14th Street and New York Avenue. Traffic being rerouted around that location. It is not immediately clear what the closure is in connection to. And a new innovation building highlights a proposed $125 million fundraising campaign for the Milwaukee School of Engineering. A 97,000 square foot building would include workshops focused on robotics and AI and would be built near Milwaukee and State Streets. Groundbreaking is expected in the second half of 2025 with full project completion in 2027. Time now for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. We're going to be following the markets very closely today on day one of new tariffs against Canada and Mexico. The markets you heard in the ABC News, they're not responding great today. Down 1.5% is the Dow, off 621 points this morning at 42,569. Meanwhile, the NASDAQ is down 1.5% as well, off 269 at 1888. And the S&P 500 down 87 points this hour at 5,763. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Let's check the roads. Your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Had an earlier incident on 43 North, broken down vehicle near North Avenue that was blocking that right exit lane. Looks like that's cleared up, and now those delays stretching north to Capitol have also cleared up as well. Still got some work being done on a broken down vehicle on 175 south in the stadium to 94 west, and just a couple other broken down vehicles scattered about the system. As far as drive times, you are looking good this hour. No major incidents or delays slowing you down. And your WTMJ forecast, we are watching for steady rain. Right now it's in Iowa and portions of eastern Kansas and Nebraska, but it will work its way towards southeast Wisconsin this afternoon and will become steady. Could hear some rumbles of thunder too, with a high of 48, down to 41 tonight. Rain snow mix, a messy day Wednesday and 46. Upper 30s the rest of the week with chances for rain and snow, mainly south of Milwaukee. Thursday, though, will be mostly sunny. Right now in Milwaukee, it is cloudy and 42 degrees. I'm Adam Roberts. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 9:34.
In 1964, we were making strides towards space travel.
Mary Poppins was the #1 movie in theaters.
And the Beatles were taking America by storm.
Which was long before I was born.
Facts. 1964 is also the year it all started for Richlands Tire and Service Centers. 60 years of continuous growth and more happy customers than you can shake a stick at.
Okay, the streamers are a bit overkill. It's just us in the studio.
All right. But it's important to know accomplishments like these aren't possible without a dedicated team. So hats off to them and our founder, my dad, Dick Mitchke, for understanding the importance of customer focus.
Facts. There's no 60 years of anything without you, the customer, which is why our focus will remain on you and only you for years to come.
Thank you from all of us here at Richlands Tire and Service Centers.
Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
Tired of staring at the same old garage door? Vince Vitrano here. Lifetime Door Company wants to give you a new one for free. Your chance to win by texting GARAGE to the WTMJ talk and text line 855-616-1620. All you need to do is take a picture of your garage door or get creative. Tell us a story. Register to win and you can pick the door of your dreams. Valued at up to $8,000, text GARAGE to the WTMJ talk and text line 855-616-1620. For contest rules, visit our website, WTMJ.com.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, folks, let's get right to it. Jeremy Janine joins us every Tuesday on the program, the Political Power Hour, 620 WTMJ. Jeremy, the president, check that, the mayor, I'm giving him a job title increase, the mayor of Milwaukee, Chevy Cavalier Johnson, had his State of the City address yesterday. What were the big items, the big talking points from the mayor?
He ended with Milwaukee's people are strong, and so too is the state of the city, but his speech touched on a lot of different themes. These speeches are often long. I haven't checked the time yet, but it might be a record-breaking time. Public safety, key thing, and everyone in Milwaukee knows that's key thing. Education, another topic he talked about at length. That one's interesting because he doesn't control education at all. He talked about his growing MKE plan, which is kind of a zoning overhaul plan.
Let's talk about the MKE plan. From his perspective, what is that?
His perspective is if Milwaukee just maintains the status quo, the city will continue to shrink. We have seen these national trends that just household sizes are changing. Steve, I don't know, you're one of probably many kids. I'm one of two. My daughter is now one of one. That changes what types of housing you need. When you look at, okay, we may need more apartments. We may need apartments of a certain size. We may need condos of a certain size. The plan is about enabling those types of housing to be developed easily without legislative approvals.
It's a quote that's probably at least a year or two old. Maybe he made it before, that he wants to grow Milwaukee to the size of like 1 million people. We're at right around 600,000 right now. Is that even realistic?
1 million certainly seems like a stretch, but I think if you're making a big goal and you get to 700,000, 800,000, you wouldn't go, we failed, we didn't get to 1 million.
Complaining about something and then doing something, having an action plan to make that change or realize whatever you think the potential of the city is, and I think it's a good potential. There's a lot of great things about the city of Milwaukee. What are some of the specifics that Mayor Johnson is talking about that will, at least in the short term, start to change people's minds about leaving or coming here?
The big thing is just creating more affordable housing, and that's not government subsidized affordable housing.
Just developers.
Yeah, developers creating housing types that people might be looking for. People that are looking to age in place, say in a Bayview or the east side, but don't want to have the lawn and everything to deal with. So creating that cottage type unit that they can live in, but also creating more housing where people want housing. And again, that's that Bayview and east side. Those are the hot areas of the city for real estate, but we're seeing other areas activity pick up and really allowing housing to be developed in those areas.
Love the east side idea, but where are you going to put this stuff? There's already buildings on most of these properties, and unless you're talking about getting rid of parkland, which I'm sure he's not.
Yeah, he's certainly not talking about getting rid of parkland. One of the things we've seen throughout the history of the city is the buildings we see today are probably not the buildings that were first built there. So creating the pathway to replace buildings in a fair process, I guess you would call it. And that's where the rubber's meeting the road of the Common Council is not necessarily on board with upzoning.
As a former mayor and as someone who sort of was known for developments, I can tell you, in my opinion, that development is a big part of getting people to stay or come to this area. And if you give them a reason, and I would argue Bayview, beautiful community, that part of Milwaukee on the south and east side, there's a lot of reasons to go there. Great restaurants, you know, the KK, that whole scene is awesome. Beautiful, you know, Lake Michigan, lakefront land, which is used in a lot of different ways, including beer parks and all the other stuff that happens down there. But how do you get more of that? I guess that's the part that I think about. What developments, what buy-in are you going to get from people who are going to invest in that part of the city?
Well, Bayview actually is a great example of this. If you just kind of take a walk in Bayview between Lake Michigan and Kinnickinnick Avenue, you will encounter these what are legally accessory dwelling units, grandma flats. These essentially single-family small units built in the backyard. You will see those throughout the neighborhood because you could build them legally 100 years ago. Today, you cannot build them without multiple discretionary approvals.
When the mayor talks, people listen. He's a great orator. He's certainly someone that's passionate about the city. He probably didn't mention it in his State of the City, but a lot of people are wondering what's next for him because often those types of positions, Mayor of Milwaukee, or even in the case of Scott Walker, County Supervisor, in the case of maybe even David Crowley, there's always the next step. Does the mayor allude to any of that? Does he just think about what's happening now?
He didn't in his speech yesterday. I was kind of looking for any hints about that, and when he looked at his future, I'm sure Trump getting elected really probably changed what he thought it could be.
Otherwise, he'd be in Washington, D.C. probably.
But there was one, I don't want to call it a subtle suggestion, but a pathway for him that may be open well into the future. Introduced him. Tom Barrett came and introduced the mayor for his speech.
Interesting.
He said he was there to say thank you. He didn't get a chance because of COVID when he left, and he heaped praise on his successor, Cavalier Johnson.
Speaking of Tom Barrett, what do you think he's going to be up to?
He still says he's figuring it out. That is a great question.
That ship has sailed was his quote last week, I think.
Yeah, but also he's only at halftime of he's 71 now, so it's a 140-year life.
I think his math is wrong, but I give him credit for thinking that way.
I have to assume he's going to be involved in politics, but I don't know that that's as a candidate.
Yeah, maybe consultants, maybe someone that advises other candidates. Jeremy Janine, urbanmilwaukee.com is where you can find his great work and the great work of others. I'll take a quick break here on 620 WTMJ. Political Power Hour on 620 WTMJ.
We love being a trusted friend in the community for those who need an attorney but don't know where to turn. Our clients aren't the kind of people who typically bring lawsuits. Our clients have been hurt in a crash or accident and need our help and advice. I'm Frank Pasternak of Pasternak & Zergabel. Jeff Zergabel and I are injury attorneys living, working, and giving back in our community. When you need help from exceptional personal injury lawyers, go to Pasternak & Zergabel at injurywisconsin.com.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi here for Milwaukee Weight Loss. I've been on the journey for about 6.5 weeks now. I'm almost 7. I've already lost over 30 pounds. It's the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day. Their doctors have developed easy-to-follow weight loss program. I could follow it. Helps you lose weight fast, naturally, safely, with no drugs or injections, with the risk of serious side effects, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes. And if you don't want to exercise, you don't have to. Their program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good with a coach, and the coaches are amazing for ongoing support. Their program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most of their programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. As I said, I'm over 30 now. Look at me. I'm a success story. You can be too. It's crazy to watch your body lose that weight, but it's possible. Schedule your free consultation right now by calling 262-449-1180, 262-449-1180, or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Broadway's smash hit, the Neil Diamond musical, A Beautiful Noise, is coming to Milwaukee. The true story of a kid from Brooklyn, destined for something more, featuring all the songs you love, including America, Forever in Blue Jeans, and Sweet Caroline. Like Jersey Boys and Beautiful, the next musical mega hit is here. The Neil Diamond musical, A Beautiful Noise, March 25th through 30th at the Marcus Center. On sale now at marcuscenter.org.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
At Wisconsin's own AccuNet Mortgage, our closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 less than the banks or the mortgage guys with the Rocket for exactly the same rate. Find out how much you can save at accunet.com.
No shortcuts, no compromises, just the job done right. At Exterior Pros, we don't just meet expectations, we crush them. Every nail, every window, every shingle is a step toward your home's next chapter. From the moment we start until that final reveal, we're committed to making your home better than ever. Quality products and craftsmanship you can count on. Go to the pros for your next project. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274.
When you work at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, you'll be helping us help others. There are many that need our help, and we need your help to carry out our mission. St. Vincent de Paul is always looking for part-time team members. You'll get competitive pay, benefits, and flexibility in scheduling. So apply online at svdpmilw.org or stop by Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, or 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Continuing our conversation with Jeremy Janine of UrbanMilwaukee.com. The mayor spoke yesterday, so we've sort of been focused on that conversation with the community at large and all the media that were collectively. The big media turnout yesterday?
Big media turnout.
All right, so what was the, beyond the plan for Milwaukee, the two big ones that I hear about from people are public safety and education. What did he say about that?
He talked a lot about public safety, recognizing the three, one firefighter, two police officers that have been hurt tragically on the job. They each got a standing ovation. He also praised that the city's homicide rate is down 20% year over year and has dropped 3 consistent years. Now, the fun with math there is that 3 years ago it was record-breaking high, so we're still not back to 2019, 2015 levels. When it came to education, he did something that I thought was interesting. He praised MPS interim superintendent.
How so?
I'll get there.
Okay.
Eduardo Galvan and the new superintendent, Brenda Calasias was there. Both got praise from the mayor, but he was very clear that MPS is failing. He's an MPS parent. He's an MPS graduate. He also, and this is what I think is interesting, used his bully pulpit after inviting the new MPS superintendent to stand up to say, and I invite you to come meet with my cabinet regularly to engage. I asked the new superintendent after the speech, what do you think of that? She said, in my past life, she was the head of schools in Minnesota. She also was the director of the Boston Public School District, that she welcomed those kinds of interactions because they help build community support.
She has an impressive resume, but I think this, I'm not speaking out of school, to use an educational term, or going out over my skis, but I think a lot of people that look at education in MPS, in Milwaukee specifically, and maybe the state too, want to see something different. Did the mayor, or even your conversation with the incoming superintendent, give you any, or flesh out any details on what that might look like?
No, I think if you were looking for a commitment that we're going to do something different and this is what it is, you didn't hear that. You heard that we have an opportunity to do something different. There is an MPS audit from the state says you have an opportunity to do something different. No one is saying what exactly that is.
You can't talk about MPS now without talking about SROs. Did that make an appearance in the State of the City address yesterday by Mayor Johnson?
He did not mention school resource officers from the podium. He did take questions about it afterwards. He said Judge David Borowski is wrong on the facts, on that the city is committed to putting school resource officers
What
in school.
fact is Judge David Borowski wrong on?
That the city is not acting with any urgency.
That's a feeling. not really an action plan.
Well, much of this debate has been about feelings.
True.
Last Thursday, Judge Borowski really, savage might be an overstatement, but he attacked the city.
Right. Pretty rough on him.
He levied a $1,000 a day fine. The city can avoid that fine if it complies by March 15th. But he explicitly said the city appears to just not want to comply. And the mayor said, yeah, we do want to comply. But you could look at the judge's argument and say, well, there's some evidence that makes that claim.
I don't have any inside knowledge, but I would imagine Judge David Borowski is running out of patience for MPS. And now the Police Association, Milwaukee, says they're ready. They said we're ready to go. They already have officers responding to school situations all the time. Now, SRO is a completely different thing, sort of. You're still policing. There's more of a communications piece and sort of a community-oriented policing model in place for these positions. But at some points, even if you're saying it's a training issue, you get them trained, they're in the schools.
That's certainly what the judge is saying. I did have a chance to talk to the president of the Police Association right after Thursday's hearing, and he said, yes, we're on board. We like what the judge is saying. We're ready. We're here to serve.
Jeremy Janine joining me on the Political Power Hour on the Tuesday edition here on 620 WTMJ. I always like to ask the journalists on the program, what are you looking ahead to cover? What are you thinking about as far as things you're going to be focusing your attention on?
Well, right after our discussion today, the Common Council's theoretically, hopefully by the eyes of many in the city, going to approve the school resource officer argument. There's also major news out of MSOE, Milwaukee School of Engineering. They're embarking on a many $million-dollar expansion of their main academic building.
An incredible success story, MSOE, as well, being downtown. And it's sort of an example that I think other districts, other educational entities could look at.
Yeah, and I'm a proud alum, and we'll have another conversation another day about
You've got an engineering background?
I have a business school background from the small engineering school.
Your level of expertise just clicked up a few notches with me. That's an impressive degree to have.
That's a proud MSOE student right there.
All right, Jeremy Janine, where can they find your great work?
UrbanMilwaukee.com.
All right, always a great read. If you want to know about Milwaukee specifically and beyond that, state politics creeps in on occasion and some other stuff. You guys do fun stuff?
We try to do fun stuff.
Yeah, and what was the most fun story you did?
We do lots of food and dining coverage that ends up in fun, and then we try and inject fun wherever we can elsewhere.
I'll give you the opportunity. Throw out a name of a restaurant that people should go to that may not have heard of.
Well, I think everyone's heard of Room Service by now, but in Bayview, that is the hot restaurant in Milwaukee right now. Milwaukee's got a great dining scene. Don't hesitate to try things across the entire city.
I've heard of it. It's on my list of probably like 15 different places now that I have to go to. That's definitely a place to check out. Jeremy Janine, UrbanMilwaukee.com. You're listening, of course, to the Political Power Hour on 620 WTMJ.
When we're out in your town, come say hi to us as we broadcast live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Anytime you hear us when we're out on the road, you can find us live from our brand new mobile studio.
Whether it be Summerfest, EAA, Opening Day, Air and Water Show,
wherever we may be, you can see us on the radio, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Advent. I had snoring issues, tossing and turning, kept my poor wife Kathy up at night, and probably woke myself up a lot more than I realized. That led to poor sleep, lots of tired, sometimes grouchy, I'll admit it, mornings on the radio. To put it simply, my nose wasn't working the way it should. I went to Advent before I ever was a spokesperson. I went there for a quick 30-minute visit. They put me at ease. They answered my questions. After a really simple sleep study done at home in my own bed, they determined my problem, sinuses, and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. After a short procedure at one of their great offices, I'm back to breathing better than ever. This is 5 years now. Still the same. Feel great. Way more capacity to suck in the air that I need to kind of function and sleep and do all the things that everybody wants to do. We're sleeping through the whole night, both Kathy and I, every night. If you struggle with restless nights like I used to, take the time to see how Advent can help you. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to adventknows.com, schedule an appointment today, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Ready for a smaller space, warmer climate, want to live closer to grandkids, or you're just sick of the upkeep? From downsizing to selling, Bruce's team has guided over 3,000 families with care and expertise. Call us today, 262-242-6177.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
The following takes place in a Capital Heating and Cooling truck.
Step on the gas. We need to get to Miss Johnson's house fast.
Roger that, Captain.
We need to get her furnace repaired.
She couldn't believe we do same-day repairs.
Or that Capital works 7 days a week.
And we'll have her heat back on today.
Same-day repairs?
7 days a week.
Same-day repairs?
7 days a week.
Because it's the right thing to do.
And if you need service right now, get a free heating or plumbing service call with any repair.
Old-fashioned service, you can't go wrong. Call CapitalCares.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a good karma brand station.
Fly me to the moon.
Got a couple minutes left before the top of the hour and local news. And, of course, Jeff Sherman's The Upswing. My pal and teammates, Kristen Bride, joining. It's a big day for us because episode 4 of our You Need to Listen podcast, we're recording that this afternoon. It's a big topic.
Big topic. Billionaires.
Billionaires. Are they bad?
Are they bad for society?
I don't think so.
Ooh.
I know we're going to disagree on this a little bit. I think we share some beliefs, but I think it's important to have a goal in life, and if we can have people that are extremely successful, it does benefit most of the time the rest of society. Most of the time. But there's some glaring examples, including one whose initials are EM, where it doesn't, I think.
I think that there's more than one example.
Oh, it probably is, yeah.
So, yeah, I think this will be a good one because I feel like there's probably some friction points there. But I feel like more than ever right now, billionaires are just in the news, right? I feel like more in the last 6 weeks, the term oligarchy has been used more than it probably has been in the last 6 years, unless you're Robert Reich and Bernie Sanders.
Tech bros has sort of been used a lot. And
the manosphere.
You know, I tweeted this or posted it or whatever the other day. I don't want to hear anyone say masterclass anymore because every time someone scores a good point, it's like, oh my God, they just did a masterclass.
What about 4D chess?
Yeah, that's stupid.
That's overplayed too.
4D chess.
Is it 3D chess or 4D chess?
I don't know. I suck at chess just generally. So.
I don't know how to play chess.
Really?
I know. It's something that I feel like I should learn. But it's one of those things where you get old enough, you're like, I'm just going to be really bad. Do I really want to be really bad at this for... But it's a good brain exercise.
I started to try to train myself to be a better chess player, and I was doing the online thing, and I still sucked at it. I learned nothing.
How's your piano skills?
Very good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something that I have been.
I know.
Good
it's been
practicing.
Years now.
Couple years, yeah. Great teacher, Shelley. She's my teacher. Has been since the beginning. So she wants me to participate in her what do they call those things? Where the kids go play for their parents. What is that?
Recital?
Called? Recital. I said I only do it if I could have fun with it. Like I could talk to the people while I was there.
If you ever do a recital, will you tell me so I can show up with flowers?
That would be cool.
I would love to see you do a recital, especially with a bunch of 10-year-olds.
Yeah, it is all little kids. And she's such a good teacher that she's really taught me how to understand how to play the piano, which I love. And I have a piano now, so that's really cool as well.
That is really cool.
All right, so I'm geeked to record this afternoon. We'll publish it on Thursday. I know people have been asking when's the next episode. Have we thought about what our next subject is going to be past this one?
Well, we had someone email us about what does it mean to be a true patriot. I think that's a really good topic.
Oh, yeah.
I think similarly, The Atlantic recently wrote an article as far as the reasons why young men are more so than past generations as young men find the right more appealing, because I think typically we've always thought of young people as more liberal and then they get more conservative as they get older. So that's a good topic. What else have we had on that list?
Adulting. sort of like
You still want to do the thing is you want to do reality TV, but I don't feel like that's going to be very interesting because it's not like I'm a huge reality TV stan.
we're not consumers enough to probably do that.
No,
one. But
it would just be us
suggestions
complaining
coming.
the entire time, and no one wants to listen to that.
Yeah. All right, they can hear your great work this afternoon. Then you and I are going to record episode 4 of You Need to Listen podcast. Christian Bryce, Bang the States. The news is next on 620 WTMJ.
Are you looking for a new car or truck? Well, good news. Inventories have really improved lately, and I have a few ideas to help you find the vehicle of your dreams. I'm Jim Token, president of Adam, the Auto Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. The first step to getting that car of your dreams is to visit any of the 115 Adam member dealerships, where you can see their selection in person and take test drives. You can also find out about the new cars they have on order and reserve the one you want. Or if you really want to get the exact car you're dreaming of, they can order it for you. It might take a few weeks for delivery, but hey, wouldn't it be nice to have the perfect vehicle built just for you? This is your chance. Plus, if you're